Hey, this is Politics with Laura. How's it going? How's it going? And how's it going some more? Oh, there is so much going on in the US. There's so much going on in politics and just all these protests. Okay, this isn't funny. But Philadelphia is on a map for different reasons. It's the LGBTQ Pride Day meets um meets the pro-Palestinian protest, and they got together and they wouldn't move out of each other's way. And next thing you know, it's battle royal. I mean, there is Jerry curl juice, sprinkled dust, flags, scarves flying all over the place. And I gotta say, it was sad. But other than that, oh, I got a good lineup for you. Now, people accuse me of being, how can I say, a Trumpster. What is a Trumpster? I mean, come on now. What is a Trumpster? I'm an independent. But however, if Democrats, if they spend all their time being in the forefront attacking one man with all types of excuse me, all types of silliness and unjust stuff, then I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to point it out. And I'm going to criticize and critique. I'm going to do all those things. And if you don't like it, that's under the category of TB. You might want to tell your politician to do something a little different. That would be helpful. But I digress. Let's go ahead and get into the thick of it. The GOP, Republicans, stand up. Stand up. Oh, man, stand up. Oh, my goodness. They stood up. They're like, oh, no, I got to show you. Let me show you. Don't believe me. I was like, what? What? They're finally participating? All right. Okay. Now it's a real free-for-all. Here we go. GOP senators warn judge against sentencing Trump to prison. Now you're like, politics with Laura. Look, he needs to go to jail. He committed the crime. He should do the time. All those things, all those slogans you put out there. But let's keep in mind one thing. You can't. let me make this painfully clear. You can't bring up charges against someone when you have your hands very dirty. Stormy Daniels tried to bring up the woman blackmailed Donald Trump, and she tried to sue Donald Trump. Donald Trump was able to sue her successfully and won a $500,000 judgment that she hasn't even paid $2.50 for. No, she paid zero on it. Zero. She paid absolutely nothing. But it seems like that the courts allowed that to happen. They allowed it to happen, and it was okay that she blackmailed him. It was okay. That meant absolutely nothing to them, because as long as what they wanted was being brought forth. Now, when has how can I say, an informal business deal, and it was a business deal, they both fulfilled both parts of their contract. Stormy Daniel got paid, and Donald Trump received her services. 10 years later, she comes back saying, yo, Donald, if you don't pay me more money, I'm going to tell everybody. And then you come out because he wouldn't pay, because he already paid you 10 years ago. And now you want to fleece him. And the Democratic state of New York, Alvin Braggs, Letitia James, and down there in Fannie Willis said, oh, has a case. Went too far. Went too far. All right, let's go get back in the thick of it. All right, look at that. Look at that. Look at his face. In that lineup when he had his lineup when he oh my goodness, when Donald Trump was in a lineup with all the guys down there in Atlanta, Georgia, Trump was the hardest looking one. You had these gang members, and the one underneath him, I called him Goldilocks. He had blonde hair with twists, and he was a gang member. Okay, I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm going to leave it alone. But the state Republican, the Senate Republicans are warning, and again, warning the New York judge Juan Merchan not to sentence former President Donald Trump to prison or the house arrest or take any other action that could disrupt the likelihood GOP nominees' ability to campaign ahead of the November election. And they should have done this a long time ago because what they charged him with was outrageous. They charged him with that and had Stormy Daniels, the head person, and then you had his lawyer, Michael Cohen, who hated him and did anything humanly possible to be able to mess him up any way humanly possible. And that's exactly what he did. But I digress. Let's get back into it. It could take months for Trump to appeal his conviction of 34 felony counts related to the falsification of business documents. Legal experts don't expect the conservative-leaning U.S. Supreme Court to intervene to help him. And really, they're not supposed to. It should be the New York Superior Court to get involved and to straighten out that travesty. And that's exactly what it is. And the fact that Governor Hochul did absolutely nothing to stop this foolishness. And oh, wait a minute, my internet is acting up. Okay, my internet. Okay, hopefully. All right. Okay, back, good connection. All right. So Governor Hochul never stepped in to stop this travesty, but it seems like that there is a lot of paid George Soros minions running around in the Democratic Party and the extension of the Congress and their extensions. Yes. So so that means that Trump's fate rests largely with Merchan, who could choose punishment ranging from prison to house arrest to probation, community service. Merchan, who earned a favorable view from the legal experts for his careful handling of the case, sentence will. Okay, no. There was no careful handling of the case. He improper. Okay, look. Fannie Willis was accused of impropriety. Now, this is a prime example of impropriety to where the judge should have recused himself, and he didn't. His wife made money off this situation, and if he didn't bend to her will, he would not have been able to go into the candy store. His daughter was making money off this situation and running out there and throwing her propaganda. And and the judge is supposed to be impartial. So he had two women that would have made his life completely miserable while failing to do his job properly is a problem. So somebody needed to get involved to stop this foolishness. And I can't wait until the Judiciary Committee grills Judge Merchant. I can't wait until that happens. Okay, the sentence will sentence Trump on July 11th, 4 days before the Republican Coast Convention in Milwaukee. Okay. The Republican senators acknowledge, got to put my, charge my computer. It almost went. Republican senators acknowledge that the legal experts say it would be highly unusual for Trump to receive a prison sentence for a Class E felony, and that he would most likely be allowed to remain in a free pending appeal the higher courts. Now, from what I see, I've got to bring that up. But from what I see that they are going to try to push their luck. The Democratic Party, and there were certain Democrats within the Democratic Party pushing this agenda. Now, we got to look at who's funding the super PAC for these DAs to do what they're doing. And someone did a great job pointing that out. Someone did, and I got to find you see? Sorry. Oh, wrong way. You see, Google it. George Soros fund DA Braggs. Yes. And his family. Let me see if I can find what his family came out and said that they did. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, where is it? All right. Okay. Let me see if I can bring this up. Oh, no. Okay, here. I'm sorry, it's coming off to a bumpy start. Okay, can we verify about George Soros' connection to the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Braggs? Here, I got to find when they came out and said it. Although he did not directly donate to Alvin Bragg's campaign, the billionaire financier George Soros did donate to the super PAC that supported Manhattan DA. Okay, there's a connection. April 4th, the former President Donald Trump pled not guilty to 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. His arraignment held in New York City came out about 4 weeks after his indictment by a grand jury. The investigation was led by the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Braggs. So Trump returned to his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida and gave a speech about the charges against him, saying that the charges and the investigation is a plot to keep him from being president again. And I will most definitely say he most definitely has a claim for that. He does. And many people can say what they choose to say, and they most definitely do. But the fact of the matter is that there are some people that are bigwigs who have a vested interest to see Donald Trump in jail someplace to where he cannot bother them. Now, there are some people who saying, well, you know, Donald Trump, he's a Republican, he's a GOP. No, he's not. No, he's not, because both parties do not like him. They don't. And just the fact that both parties do not like him makes him in no man land, and he should be looked upon as a maverick, in my 2 cents. Now, you may not agree with me, and that is okay. We still have a free country. It's almost a communist country. They're working hard on it. And just figure, you have people who want a communist country, never been to a communist country, never visited a communist country, but only have an idea of what form of communism they believe it should be, because it was written in a book that they said, okay, I co-sign on this. But never talk to people who fled a communist country. Go figure. That right there is when intellects maintain their theories, but they never proven their theory. They never done anything to act. Okay, I'll leave that alone. I'll leave it alone. Let me see. But so that a GOP is telling them you have gone too far, George Soros connection. Now, here's the sad part. Just when you think people can act decent at a school function, they can't. There are some people in this world that have a problem with shaking hands with people that have a different color. Now, this is making news, and I feel so bad. Oh, this young girl, I feel so bad for her because her father messed up her day of graduating. She didn't even put the diploma in her hand when her father did this dumb, ignorant stuff. Now, this guy, people will call a racist and a bigot, prejudiced, a dirtbag, a garden variety fool. All of the above. But you make your own mind up. Excuse me. I need a cough drop. Okay, let me bring this up and then find a cough drop. And I'm talking to myself. Okay, now I try to find an original post, but this right here comes from Colorful Stories in Barbu High School in Wisconsin. Man. Okay, this guy's making Wisconsin look bad, but unfortunately, whenever one person does something that is so outrageous, people have a way of taking that behavior of that one person and assigning it to everyone. They do it. Politicians are great at doing it, demonizing people as a whole, but not looking at the one person. So I'm looking at this individual guy. So let's go ahead and begin it. Oh, fair use.
Racist people. Hold, please.
Because her dad. Oh. She's still shaking hands.
Where's Brendan? Man, you better get up off me, man. Get away from me, bro. No. Hey, no. Hey, you need to get.
Look at her. Poor girl. Let me show. Look right here. Look right here. Her father comes up, takes the black guy, pushes him out the way.
Excuse me.
His daughter's shaking hands.
Where's Brendan? Get away from me, bro.
She's like, "Where's my dad?"
No. Hey, you need to get. Hey.
And all that was done because he did not want her shaking the man's hand. And that right there is beyond outrageous. Beyond outrageous that he did that. And now that poor child, my heart goes out to her because even when she's 90 years old and they say her name, the class of 2024, June, I don't know, when did she graduate? July, May, June is when graduation day is coming. Graduation day, even when she's 90 years old. Oh, remember when her dad did that 80 years ago? You can't make it up. You can't make it up. And that is, that right there, that poor child, that's going to be cemented, assigned to her for the rest of her life for what her father did. Her father, his bigotry, hatred, whatever it was that propelled him to push the superintendent out of the way, pushed him, and then based on what you were able to hear, quasi attacking him. I don't want to assign anything to anyone because I didn't see it. I only heard the scuffle. And the girl said, the student said, "Where is my dad?" She knows who her father is. She knows. And the fact that he did that. Father, if you want to protect your child from terrible people, don't start with that man. There's a bunch of people that you know that you're able to start with. Why start with the person that's doing nothing? That is, to me, is a sign of cowardice. I could assign so many different adjectives to it, but I'm not. People already beating them up already. And the poor child. Oh, that poor child. My heart goes out to her. But let me see. Oh, there's something else I wanted to bring forth. But that right there was just beyond comprehension. I feel bad for that young girl. Let me see. Let me try to find it. Oh, okay. We have some breaking news, something that occurred 4 hours ago. Okay. We can watch this together. Hold on. Let me pause that. All right. Let me bring this up. Okay, U.S. Attorney Joshua Lay confirming. Okay. Oh, wow. A MEX ring for the ultra wealthy clients, including the elected official politician. Oh, okay. Let's fair use.
In exclusivity. This commercial sex ring was built on secrecy and exclusivity, catering to a wealthy and well-connected clientele, and business was booming until today. It's alleged that the prospective sex buyers in this scheme first had to respond to a survey and provide information online, including their driver's license photos, their employer information, credit card information, and they often paid a monthly fee to be part of this illicit club. The affidavit that's unsealed in court today alleges that once the buyers were verified, they were then texted and allowed to place orders with commercial sex workers. They would choose the duration of this encounter they wanted, the types of services they wanted, and they also would receive a menu of different options and different women that they could purchase sometimes at rates between $350 and $600 an hour. The menu included photographs of the various women who were available that day. And the defendants then directed the sex buyers to various apartments in Watertown and Cambridge in Virginia, where they engaged in commercial sex. According to the charging documents, the buyers who made up this ring hail from an array of professions. They are doctors, they are lawyers, they're accountants, they're elected officials, they are executives at high-tech companies and pharmaceutical companies, they're military officers, government contractors, professors, scientists. Pick a profession, they're probably represented in this case. They are the men who fueled this commercial sex ring. And the government alleges that there are potentially hundreds of individuals who took these services as commercial sex buyers. The buyers in this case are not charged today. They're not named in the affidavit. But I want to emphasize, this is an investigation that's just getting going, and we're in the very early stages.
Wow. Okay, so it's starting to go down. It's starting to go down. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, I just thought I would throw that in there. Now, back to politics. Alvin Braggs. I thought this was like, really? Alvin Braggs recently had received a Lifetime Achievement Award. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. Oh my goodness. All right, let me just show you. Now, this right here is on the official website. Okay. Okay, Alvin Bragg, a lifetime of hard work, courage, and demanding justice. Really? Mr. Braggs? Really? Demanding justice? We're going to get to your form of demanding justice. So here, okay, Alvin Braggs is a 37th district attorney elected in Manhattan, a son of a Harlem who has served as both a state and federal prosecutor. Alvin Braggs spent more than 2 decades fighting to make the community safer and our community's system fair. Really? And he is the first Black Manhattan DA in history of this office. Well, Alvin, at the rate you're going and what you have done, you may be the last. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna leave my comments alone on that one. But here, under his leadership so far, the office has increased in gun prosecution, focusing on gun traffickers and ghost runners, manufacturers, and charged with secure convictions of numerous armed and robberies, shootings, homicides, and at the same time, the office investigates a community-based gun violence prevention programs and services to address the trauma suffered by the victims and witnesses of gun violence. Okay, now that right there, okay, fine. But what happens when Alvin Braggs does this? Alvin Braggs under fire for release of migrants suspected of attacking police. I mean, prosecuting people. Now, they just said prosecuting. They didn't say whether they were you would assume that he's prosecuting everybody when that's not the case. He's given special privileges. So your lifetime award, really? So you only go after American citizens, but you have illegal migrants suspected of attacking police officers, attacking people in the community, shooting people, all the things that you're supposed to be fighting against. And you missed the mark, Mr. Braggs. You missed the mark big time. So much so, because you were too busy looking at Donald Trump and Stormy Daniels. And here, several suspects believed to be involved in the attack caught on video last week were arrested. 5 were released without bail. And shortly afterwards, the suspects identified as Yoenri Brito was released on bail of $15,000. That means $1,500, but was suspected released without bail. Broader buses to leave the local city and the reported media. So they let him go, hop on a bus, got his flip-flops on, going someplace else to act a fool. But here, he was wanted for January 27th, approximately 8:30 p.m. Individuals were kicked and punched police officers in the head and body when the officers were effectively and arrest in front of the 2200 block of West 42nd Street. Now, let me tell you something. Now, if that were an American citizen, okay, something would have been more than done than allow illegal immigrants to sit there and abuse police officers. Something more would have been done than just allowing them to get away with it. Oh, and don't have, well, these illegal migrants, they have a different status. They are above Americans. Most Americans, they are above most Americans. They're not above all Americans, but they're above most Americans. And if you disagree with me, show your proof. You can go ahead and go through past videos of mine to where I show to where whenever they commit a crime, these DAs are coming up with different of sentencing. Just look back. Just look at it. Different states are doing different things. They are giving them a free pass to be to commit crimes and get away with it. Now, when they are emboldened to do these things, they are then what? You can't make this up, Democrats. These are your policies. But let me go ahead on back to Alvin Bragg's Lifetime Achievement Award. You can't make this stuff up. This right here is just straight out wild. Just Oh, Alvin Braggs created a special victims division, which includes intimate partner SV Bureau and the human car trafficking. Are you sure? Don't they have open brothels? Let me see if I can find that. They have open brothels in in New York City. Let me find this. This is telling fibs. New York City Post. Now you're really trying to stop car traffic, human car traffic. Is that what you're trying to do, sir? Let me bring this up. Because you're not telling the truth, sir. Check this out. New York City. Now, this right here is what? July 29th, 2023, last year, almost a year ago, New York City Avenue is overrun by brazen brothels operating in broad daylight. And let's take a look. The streets of Corona, Queens has turned into the city's boldest open air market for mechs. Just drop the M and put an X, the algorithm. So don't be inboxing me saying, why are you using mechs? What are you talking about? Mexican? No. Okay. One so popular with the pervs that its advertisement on YouTube. Oh my goodness. As police enforcement wanes and the immigration surges nearly to a dozen brothels have set up in shops along Roosevelt Boulevard near the Junction Boulevard. So let's go back to Mr. Braggs and his achievements. I mean, I'm glad you're winning awards, but I just don't see how they fare with what you're allowing to occur. Mr. Braggs, DA Braggs, first Black American DA in Manhattan, New York. Braggs, it seems like that you're bought and paid for, Mr. Braggs. You took the bag for 30 pieces of gold. My thought. Doesn't mean that it's true. It's just something that I believe that is true. Between belief and information that's out there that I just showed. Okay. My goodness, it's messing up. Okay. All right. It's back on. Okay, good. It's back on. All right. So it goes on. And I'm really going, okay, wait a minute. Recognizing that criminal behavior is often driven by the underlying need that we do not meet excessively with the incarceration, Alvin Braggs created a pathway to public safety division, Pathways DA, ADA's screen, and assesses every case as early as possible for potential diversion into the evidence-based programming. Okay, evidence-based programming. So you're collecting data. Or shall I say data, sir? You are collecting data and then doing it individual by individual basis. So if that right there is true, why are there so many open brothels? It goes against exactly what you were saying, that this is what you are fighting against and preventing, but you have an open season in broad daylight to where pervs and all types of people can come to these areas in New York City. Wow. Okay, sir. And this is why Donald Trump is needed. He's badly needed because you Dems have run this country into the ground in 4 years. I'm just looking at everything that's going on done by Joe Biden within less than 4 years. The whole world is in chaos. I'm not saying it's all President Biden's fault, but he has a lot to do with it. All right. But there's something else I want to show you. Something else. Let me get that down. All righty. Now here, within him being tough on crime, tough on this, tough on that, tough on that, let's take a look at the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Braggs. Here, District Attorney Alvin Braggs announces 34 count felony indictment on the former President Donald J. Trump. Now, keep in mind, Stormy Daniels, he's basing all of, let me look, just look at me. Look at me. He's basing all of this on a woman that blackmailed him. She blackmailed him and then got all of these politicians, all these Democratic politicians, tying that into the election fraud, tying that into this, tying that into that, and making her the star witness when she was the one who was blackmailing him, trying to get more money. Mr. Braggs, DA Braggs, that makes you complicit. Most definitely complicit, along with Letitia James, DA Letitia James, and Fannie Willis, and she's getting pummeled as she should. And the fact that she was able to win the Democratic primary is beyond comprehension. Let me get another taste of my coffee on that one. You can't make that stuff up. This identity politics is real and dangerous. All right. So DA Braggs. Okay, he announces today the indictment of Donald Trump. He's 76. Wait a minute. 76. The DOJ did not prosecute President Biden because he was an older man and a well-meaning older man, but Donald Trump is a couple of years younger than him, and they're throwing the book, the boulder, the building, the country on him. I'm just saying. Falsifying New York business records in order to conceal damage information and unlawful activity from the American voters. I mean, just the fact that they did all of this, showing that that's not what happened. And even there was testimony saying by bankers, like, this is how we do business. For an example, let me give you an example. You have a house on a block, and you need people to come in to appraise. I know I'm going off a little bit, but it still applies here. For those of you say, Politics with Laura, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know. Do you own a house? Do you own property? I'm going to ask you, do you? And do you use your property as leverage in order to do business? Do you? I'll leave it right there. And you have people to come in and to appraise your property for whatever reason you want to do. And they look around like, okay, that house over there has a new paint job. That house over there, that house over there. And then they give a roundabout assessment of what it's worth. Now you're going to say, well, Politics with Laura, well, that's not what they were doing, because he took the values and he brought it down. But the accountants and the bankers and the real estate people told them how they did it. And the wild part is the DA owns a home, all these people own homes, and they all did the same thing, but then turned around, and because it was former President Trump, they're going to say, well, that's not how you do, even though I did it, even though the bankers and the real estate people, the accountants said how they do it, we're going to overlook that. And we're going to ignore, and let's use the correct definition of ignore. You know what it is, but you simply ignore it, and you're going to go along with what you're going to go along with. And that's exactly what happened. And it's a shame that people are going to go along with this foolishness And this up in your face corruption. It's corruption in your face. And you're okay with it because you don't like Donald Trump. Well, who gives a damn who you like? You see this criminal corruption. You see this corruption in your face and you're okay with it. You're fine with it. You're fine with this corruption because you don't like Trump. I don't like him. He's a racist. He's a that. He's a this. Okay, all these different adjectives you could assign to Trump. Fine. He's a hard person to like, but are you willing to let him go down because you don't like him? Because keep in mind, the hole you dig for someone else, you're going to fall in it before he does. So when he gets out of this, right? And he will, because everything that was done to him was done by unclean hands, or shall I say, yeah, Stormy Daniels has unclean hands, was used her as a catalyst, and she was willing to be used. Stormy, how much money did you get out of all this situation? How much money? How much money did you sell out for? I would like to know. I'm going to say this to you, Stormy, and I'm going to tag you. What does it profit a woman to gain the world for her to lose her soul? What did she exchange for her soul? So, Stormy, what did you exchange for your soul to where your whole family, your husband, how does he hold his head up high knowing what his raggedy wife did? How does your children hold their head up high knowing what their raggedy mother did? How much did she compromise herself? Look, Stormy, not all money is good money. And I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to leave it right there. But to that extent, let's get to Trump. I'm going to leave D.A. Braggs alone because no matter what he does, now here's the interesting part. Let me see if I can find it. The interesting part is this. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, wow. Okay. Let me go ahead and bring this up. The people has spoken. Whoa. What is this? This is what? June 3rd. 2 days ago. Trump's campaign and the Republican National Committee says that they raised $141 million in May, a massive fundraiser hole that includes tens of millions of dollars raised of the aftermath of the guilty verdict of the criminal hush money. You got people, Democrats. This is why I say you gone too far. You did. And you bit off your nose in spite of your face. Uh-oh. You bit off your nose in spite of your face. You want to get him so badly that you messed up your own party. It is irreparable. Irreparable. How are you, no matter what PR you could put out there, no matter what, you can have somebody walking on water. That is not going to help the Democratic Party. It is not. Your party has done too much, too many underhanded, sneaky, backstabbing things. Your corruption has come to the top, boiling over to where we can all see it. beyond comprehension, to where you have people who wouldn't even put money in a freaking church collection plate. But they gave what they had to Donald Trump, to the Republican Party, because they're sick and tired of the Democrats doing what they're doing. Your day has come for the reckoning. And this is a person who was a former Democratic Party. I was a Democratic member for a long time. I remember when I was 19 and I voted. My first time voting, I went Democrat all the way down. Not anymore. You got to earn my vote, and you can't be corrupt to that extent. But to my understanding, let's see. Okay, let's see to what degree. Did he raise any more money? Okay, what is this? Okay, it's 141 million. Let's see, what is it now? Is there any last week? Okay, 5 days ago. Yeah, nearly $53 million after the verdict. Look, Democrats, you cannot get by this. This is something that the people are speaking. The people are tired. The people are tired. And there's nothing that you can do. You have done too much, way too much. But I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to leave it right there. Right there. So, please like, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. Please help me out. Help me out. Help me out. Help me get there. Because I have, 2,300 subscribers. And I am getting hit heavily, shadow banded heavily. I'm shadow banded heavily on Politics with Laura 1 on Instagram. They are heavily shadow banning me there. But apparently, if I were to sit there and go along to get along with the narrative, which I can't do, I'm not in the selling my soul like that. No, I'm sorry. I'll work harder. Eventually, I'll get there, but please help me out so I can get there. Please like, subscribe. If you want to upset people, send them my video. Send them my video. Oh, and if you want to support me, please support me. Help me out. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Politics with Laura. Every dollar counts, so I can further continue building my studio, getting better equipment. Help me out there. But on that note, you could be anywhere, which you are. You could be doing anything, what you are. I just want to thank you for stopping by.